Nole insiders Lane Hurt and Tim Lenefelt here with you. Had to move this one indoors thanks to a big rainstorm coming through Tallahassee. Fresh off the Seminoles' 63-20 loss to Louisville, head coach Jimbo Fisher had his press conference. I'd say he was equally parts very upset with what happened, but also wanting to move forward and move into the next phase for this team.
Yeah, I thought that my biggest takeaway was that Jimbo seemed to have a little more, I don't even know if emotion was the word, but I think he just acknowledged his emotions and his passions after that game. Said he was really angry, really upset with how things had happened. Right off the bat, he said that they broke down in all three phases of the game: offense, defense, and special teams. And, with a game like that, it's not hard to see exactly what he's talking about. But he also stressed the importance of, look, you can feel that way and you can be angry and you should be, but from his perspective and from the staff's perspective and the players as well, it's not like they can dwell on it. They have another game on Saturday against a team that, by the way, has lost just twice since they played Florida State last year. They're really one of the more up-and-coming programs in the country, and if Florida State doesn't find a way to move on from the Louisville game, it's going to be an even bigger problem against USF on Saturday.
Yeah, I think the word that was used a lot was shocked. The players were shocked. The coaches were shocked as the game progressed and went on the way that it did. You and I were shocked for sure. But he also said that game cannot define this team. Right. The team has to move forward, practice better, play better, fix some of those things. How important is it that this game gets forgotten as fast as possible?
It's really fast because, again, to go back to what we were just saying, USF's a talented team. They have a good quarterback in Quentin Flowers. They have a really good running back in Myron Mack, and they also run an offense or a playbook that's pretty similar to what Florida State saw last week, with the quarterback running that read option and making the decision whether to give the ball or keep it himself and run with it. And we saw what kind of problems that gave Florida State, not just against Louisville, but also against Ole Miss and going back to some opponents in the last couple of years. So there are some issues that need to get tightened up. And so I think more than just being upset about the loss, which, again, no problem with that whatsoever, you got to be pragmatic about it and focus on the here and now, because you have another game, and rather than like Jimbo Fisher said, he said, letting this game define your season, it's just get back to who you are, which is a good football team that can play well and start playing well. I thought that was one of the more telling things that Jimbo Fisher had to say. Is somebody asked about the goals of potentially winning the ACC or going to the college football playoff or winning a national championship, all those goals that were talked about at the beginning of the season. He said, look, we can't worry about that right now. We have to worry about playing well. We have to worry about getting lined up. We have to worry about executing, and all those things that sort of make you, as a fan, roll your eyes as coach speak. But no, it's actually true. They actually do, focus on playing well, handle that, and then you can worry about long-term goals.
And one of those things that Coach Fisher talked about is he wants to see more from the offensive line. He wants to see guys like Coleman Shoe get back healthy so he can rotate in. Brock Rubel has been practicing better. He wants to see more guys rotate in. They can give guys a series off and let guys kind of understand and feel the game better.
Yeah, and look, that's no secret that it's been a sore spot for the team over the first couple games of the season, is the offensive line coming together, and there's been a lot of reasons for that, whether it be injuries or inexperience, whatever the case may be. But the fact is, DeAndre Francois was sacked 5 times against Louisville. Dalvin Cook has really yet to assert himself the way that we're used to seeing in a game so far this season. And look, we knew that Louisville was going to score. At least I thought that Louisville was going to score last week. What surprised me was that the Florida State's offense had such a hard time keeping up, and a lot of that is attributable to not being able to block up front, whether it be for Dalvin Cook or DeAndre Francois. So those guys are. You like to think that they're getting better. You like to think that the more they practice together and play togetger, that they're going to improve, and they almost have to. But it's an imperative thing. That's something that certainly keep an eye on for this week, because not to take it back to USF, but they have some talented players on defense, including some really big guys up front that were recruited by Florida State, recruited by some of the big programs in the state of Florida, bigger programs in the state of Florida. Those guys can play, so it's going to be another test for the offensive line on Saturday.
There you have it, Seminole fans. We'll have much more for you as the week progresses. Of course, we'll have that game preview for you on Friday and 3 keys to victory on Saturday. And much more as Florida State gets set to take on USF at noon on Saturday in Tampa. So for Tim Lenefelt, I'm Lane Hurt. Go Noles.